Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Coaching with Chris. Today, my special guest, not only releasing out a brand new book, which we're going to talk about, but top originator, top leader, top branch, like killing it in the mortgage industry. And also a very, very influential coach has personally helped me throughout the years. I remember the very first time I talked to him, he bought me my drink at Starbucks. And that's something I'll never forget. JJ's like, I got it. And so JJ Mazzo, how are you?
How you doing, buddy? Good to see you, bro.
Good to see you. I mean, we got to get caught up. So this is kind of fun. We get to catch up at the same time, talk about this book, but catch me up. You're building your branch, you're recruiting, you're in the toughest state in the industry in California, and it's still working. What's the secret sauce?
Consistency, buddy. Just doing the actions and the activities. Yeah. So still have the production with my team in Orange County, which is, I'm in South Orange County. So it's like a micro market. So that's interesting always when we get in these type of different market conditions. And then I have my branch in Orange County and then a division. There's about, 25 offices around the country for CCM. So those things keep me busy and all over the place, but make it a little bit more fun and a little bit more spontaneous as far as the business goes. So just, keeping my head down, bro.
What do you think we've been in mortgage a long time, but like, what do you feel like are the things that loan officers are doing today that are actually working and that are getting traction with that maybe have changed over, say, 5 years ago?
I know everyone would probably say, okay, like social media, and I'm going to say no. I would say social media is very important for branding. Okay. So it's going to show you that people look on there and they're going to see, okay, this guy's legitimate. He knows what he's talking about. They're going to check you on there. But I would say consistency and mindset and activities, regardless of what's going on around you. I think that's prior to the past 5 years. It didn't require as much mindset. When you're having to do a lot of work without seeing the instant results or the results of the work that you're putting in at a massive level, it takes a different type of mindset to persevere, which is why we've seen so many people exit the industry as a whole. The other thing that I think is being able to be in a position where you're not stuck in one market and one area. You have to be able to think multi-state. You have to be able to do consultations, meet referral partners in other states and other markets. I think that's also very important. And I think more of a consultative approach is very important, making sure that you're taking the time, slowing down, and really consulting the client, not just on a mortgage, but their entire financial picture, meaning what does their total debt burden look like? What is the total impact going to be on their future? More of a real money management type of consultative approach that I think people didn't do before. Let's just be honest, 2020, 2021, it was, here's your rate, here's your payment, here's your rate, here's your payment. That ain't going to fly in this market. That's for sure. And I don't think it has. And that's why we saw a big difference in folks in it.
Yeah, I mean, you're really talking about sweeping a bigger net, which I'll never forget. Josh told me one time, he's like, Chris, don't you dare go look at another market until you're good at the market you're in. And I always thought that was great advice. In fact, I was blessed to be able to share that throughout my years to others. But like, what does it look like to start working another market? Like, how do you even pick?
Well, I mean, first off, why not pick like just as you did? Like, let's think about the markets we're in. All right. The market we're in isn't the market we picked. It's the market that picked us. True?
That's true.
Okay. And then when we started in this market, no one had any idea. No one liked us. No one knew us. And no one trusted us. True?
True.
So it just took a matter of implementing some systems and structure around getting people to know, like, and trust us. And then suddenly you're having just success in different forms in that particular market. It's not any different. You got to remember, like, nowadays people have no problem doing these type of interactions on Zoom, where before it was different and weird and people needed to touch and feel and see you. Where now if they see you once a quarter, which I would argue even in my own market, I would see people maybe once a quarter that I did business with for a long time. It's just putting in the systems and structure. So pick the market that you want to go to, know the value that you're going to add to that market, and start from scratch and start really looking at what it is that you want. If you want better margins, if you're a branch manager, then go to a place that don't come to where I'm at. That's for sure. You'll be highly disappointed. Go to a different marketplace. So, and I think being able to offer one to many. So, basically if you have a value add, you want to teach people and educate people, which is a big part of who I am. And I know who you are. Then taking that time to get as many people in front of you on an audience from all over the country, if necessary, to be able to educate them, and then doing the follow-up. So one of the things that we do on social media is people that follow me, I break it down. They're broken down by realtors, they're broken down by loan officers, and I get their total units and volume turned into me at the end of each week. So I know exactly who, and if they fit my avatar, and then what relationship that I do want to build with them. Also, it doesn't matter where they're at. And so I think my platform, I'm blessed that I can be in all 50 states, so it makes it a bit easier. But I think in any platform, you just got to do a little extra. You got to pay a few extra fees, do a little extra education. You can get in any state that you want.
Yeah, that's right. So where do you feel what was harder, building the branch and recruiting, or building your local branch and getting the referral partners to know you and trust you to send you, the business for your own personal branch? What's harder?
I think recruiting's harder for sure. It's like getting kicked in the teeth all the time. One might think it's easier, but man, it is.
Because it looks sexy.
It looks sexy. It's not. I love retention more than acquisition, because I love just like every week, what can I do to just prove myself and my value to somebody else? Now, in the recruiting game, it takes a long time. In the realtor game, I find that if you just keep pouring in and adding value, whether that's product value, market updates value, teaching them how to go get more business, especially teaching them how to generate referral business, that they're way more receptive to it. And they notice it way quicker, because most people in our industry are not doing that. They're just calling saying, hey, checking in, need a lead. And it's really easy to separate yourself, a lot easier than that. On the recruiting side, it's really hard to separate yourself when you're a market leader calling them. But it takes the same thing. I mean, ultimately, you need to build a relationship and be in a relationship. You're like, hey, man, I don't want anything or need anything. I just want to build a relationship with you. And that just takes time. It just takes time. It's the long game. But I find that it is easier when it's live and in your marketplace. But I could argue that I could probably fly to 4 different places every single quarter and still get the same effect, as long as my phone follow-up is really good as well.
I've been working hard to redo my VIP list. I just got my VIP. I'm not saying everybody should have, but my VIP list got 159 on it, which is a little large. But because of the different segments of business, it kind of got bigger than I actually think of. How are you doing your VIP list, and how are you staying on it? And maybe tell everybody how important it is, because I felt like I fell off the wagon a titch, and then it slapped me in the face, JJ. And then I'm like, shit, I got to get this back dialed.
Dude, I fell off the wagon. I was really, really good at it, but fell off the wagon a bit. But more importantly, the book coming out is what really shined a light on who and what the VIP list looked like. So, I made this list of like, all right, who are the people that I care about, that I like, that I know or cross paths, that would be able to benefit from this book, or their business would benefit from this book. So I had to make this list, and the list was more than just friends, family, and stuff. And there were all these people in the industry that I've crossed paths with, like yourself, and just all kinds of people throughout coaching over the past 10, 15 years. And I was like, man, whatever happened to them? Whatever happened to them? Oh my gosh, man. And so now as I'm calling through it, it's been amazing, because it puts me in a position to reconnect with these folks. And then it allows me to be like, man, I need to stay in front of these way more often. And what do I think the impact is? I know what the impact, the long-term impact is I'm going to build and bridge back relationships that I had before, and more relationships never hurt. They're always, so maybe it's someone that I worked with 5 years ago in coaching, and then suddenly they want to make a move and they call me to run it by me, and that happens. Or maybe it's a referral loan that hey, I can't do California, will you do this for me? Whatever it is, I think givers gain. I'm not worried about what I get back. I'm just like, all I'm focusing on is reconnecting. offering value, and that's going to be the key. Is what I do from here is I'm going to look at it way differently from the standpoint of how can I add value to these VIPs and do something that's really dope and cool and different, because that's this group of people, and come up with that. So funny you asked, because now I have this VIP list that never looked like this, and I'm going to spend the better part of business planning for next year in October. And that's going to be a big part of it. You know, what can I do? Even if it's like have a big party event and invite every one of them to my house once a year or something, and, you know, maybe 20 come, cool, whatever. But something that's going to be consistent and something that I will stick to.
Well, I mean, you mentioned it. You've just came out with a new book. And I'm just excited to be able to talk to you about it. And kudos to you and congratulations for coming up with it. But like, before we like get into the book, let's talk about like this idea of a book. Did you wake up one day and you go, oh, shit, I think I'm going to write a book?
Yeah, no, bro. This was a God thing through and through. And so I've really leaned way more into my faith the past 4 years than I ever have. I always say I knew him in head, but I didn't know that I knew him in heart. And so that's transformed a lot. And I was doing some work with a company called Brand Builders and Rory Vaden. He wrote Take the Stairs. Yeah. And we went through this whole process for Impact Elite Coaching. And I was like, this was super cool. He was really, really helpful. How about for me? I wear so many different hats. Let's see what that looks like. You know, I don't know what it looks like. I know what my company looks like. And I know what CrossCountry, but I don't know what everything else looks like. So we went through that process, and it's 2 days of like, when you go deep, it's deep. It's like, I felt like I was
this was with Rory, or
the first one was with Rory. The second one was with Elle, and it's kind of Rory's like right hand in this particular, like not a company size, but a one-on-one size.
Okay.
And it was like 2-3 hour therapy sessions, and it was. And I'm a transparent person, so I just throw it all out there, good, bad, or indifferent. And when it was all said and done, we looked at this and was like, man, this could be super helpful. This is like, there's a book here. Like it's the structure for the book, the principles that were laid out. And it was just a lot of the things that I had gone through, like when I first started the business, 0809, where I failed miserably over and over again. And what were some of the things that helped me, so that, for example, in this market, why I didn't fail as much had more to do with these principles in the book. And the timing of it was very apropos for what we were going through in real estate and mortgage, although the book could be for anybody. And I was like, so I talked to someone who has a lot of experience and helped me, and we collaborated. And then he said, you need to I'll get you in front of Wiley. You know, I think they want to hear about your book. And I talked to Wiley, who's a big publisher, and they bought it and said, let's do it. And then the rest was history. So it was just me pulling on a thread of purpose, because I've very much been on a purpose and peace-driven mission more than it used to be money over mission, you know? I think most people, if they were being honest, said that. And I'm working more, and Shayla helped me with this, phrasing it this way, of mission over money, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, for years, I stared at the money too much. Yeah. Or I stressed about it, or I thrived it, or identified it as me or as a person.
Horrible.
And it's the freaking worst trap ever.
Worst trap ever, buddy. And I think everyone has been in it, good, bad, or indifferent. It was just one that I had worked really, really hard getting out of. And okay, it's easier said than done when you have money than when you don't. And I agree with that. But people, you can also, you know, really screw it up if you have it too. So I think it's a matter of just realizing, you know, having gone through a lot of loss, and the book talks about some of it, not all of it, but having gone through a lot of loss, it just puts it in a lot of perspective. And you just realize, you know, people say you can't take it with you, then it's like, all right, cool, then act like it. You know, that's the difference. And so acting like you can't take it with you looks a whole inherently different than, you know, you just saying it. So I had to look myself, when you're writing a book and you're writing your story, you have to look yourself in the mirror over and over again. And the worst part about it is, it's like every day now, like, oh, what should I do? And I'm like, well, this is what you said, sucker. Why don't you do what you said? You know,
So
like,
you're referencing it back.
oh yeah, you
Oh,
do. Like it does. It's no joke. So it's like, so it is a bit of, it's definitely some self accountability. So it's been a blessing in a lot of ways, and the hardest thing I've ever done. I've been selling, $350,000 to $500,000 mortgages since I was 19, but selling a $26 book, buddy, everyone told me it was going to be the hardest thing of your life, and it has been.
What was the, back to writing the book? I mean, then let's get into the sales thing. I'm sure there's great lessons for us in that too, on that side of it as well. But, and by the way, for anybody that wants that book, I'll make sure that we get the link attached so you can link in and grab JJ's book for sure. But what the starting of writing this book and going through it, what were some of the challenges of, taking, like for me, it would be like taking the challenge from here to here to this paper would be tough for me sometimes. It would be easy for me just to talk through and do it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like, what were challenges for you?
Yeah, so I had met with someone, a guy named Brett, who was my muse. So he and I what I would do is be able to record, talk, interview, go through it over and over again. And then as each chapter got put on paper, then it's a matter of me going through and change. So you go through each chapter 7, 8, 9, 10 times, each chapter over and over again. So I probably went through each chapter 8 and 10 times, through all the chapters, and then finally, when it was all done, read the book all together. And then you go through it all together, and then you've got to retweak some things about 2 and 3 times. And then you have alpha readers read it, and then they give their feedback on it. And then it goes off to the publisher where they do their final, like, hey, let's make sure you can say this and say that. So it's a process. It took about a year and a half to do that. But I'm really good about just throwing up ideas and just my history. The hardest part was going through and reliving large parts of my past. Not that I think it was, having done it in therapy is one thing, but having to write it and read it 10 times over and over and over again is, I would argue if you guys all had to read your mistakes 10 times over again, year after year after year, it can wear on you a little bit. So that was probably the most difficult, but also a lot of peace on the other side.
Yeah. So you get this book all writ. Everybody agrees. This is it. Now it's time for JJ to sell this book. Now what happens? What lessons have you learned in the beginning stages? Because this is brand new of selling this book.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is to, think and look at opportunities where I'm not looking for book opportunity. It's just not who I am. I've sought a lot of counsel. So, Tim Grover has been a huge help, and his publicist on help, gave me some great advice. Tom Ferry's been, these are all people that have a lot of experience, Ben Newman. So I think seeking counsel has been helped a lot because I've been able to just focus on do this, don't do that. And then just being open to opportunities that I normally wouldn't. And then just doing, lots of podcasts, getting the word out there, and just making sure that people know, because you have to sell as many books as you can to hit a bestseller list before the book actually comes out. Once the book comes out, which is October 7th, you have about 4 days only from Tuesday to Saturday to be able to sell as many books to hit a list. And so for me, I feel obligated to do it for the publisher. I'm goal oriented. So it puts me to all right, let's see if we can hit one of these lists. And so that's just been my focus and doing the activity every day. So honestly, I just added it to a time block at the end of each day, make 3 phone calls, sell books. And you do that every single day over and over again, you're probably going to sell some books.
Yeah, you are. That's cool. So now you got the book, you got it coming out, and I know your girls are getting older and older. How's that hitting you? The transitions of these girls that continue to grow up and become young ladies and go into their paths and their own ways.
Well, yeah. I mean, think when you and I first met each other, they were, I don't know, probably 3 and 6. Probably somewhere around then, maybe 5 and 8, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
No, 3 and 6, probably better. And now they're women. My daughter's going to be turning 21. My other daughter's 17, turning 17, driving. So it's different. So, I mean, obviously it'll be interesting when they read this book. because they're going to learn some things about me that like we probably don't talk about. I am banking on my youngest daughter not reading the book for probably 2, 3, 4 years because, you know, at that age, they don't want to read, and I'm totally cool with that. And then my oldest daughter, I'm sure she'll get around to it. But there's good stuff in there for them to understand things they don't remember and going through times that they just don't remember. And frankly, I would rather they didn't. And we all work hard as parents to make sure our kids don't remember those times and that they never have to go through or repeat those things again. So I think it'll be humbling for them to really understand, like, holy moly, like I probably have it okay. And, you know, dad actually, you know, he didn't screw things up too bad. And we ended up all right, you know, and then hopefully more than ever that it just motivates them to follow Christ and just move in that direction too.
That's so cool. I actually didn't really know that part of your journey, that you've really been working on your faith the last 3 to 4 years. And that's amazing. That's awesome. What do you think is the biggest lesson that you're going to change in the fourth quarter? Like, I'm already thinking of, okay, it's the third quarter. I can't control the market. It's probably going to be yo-yo all the way through to the end of the year. So I'm not like saying, well, I'm betting on this or I'm betting on that. I'm sticking to my plan. But as a tactic, just because JJ, you're really good at tactical homework. I remember you coaching me and giving great tactical homework. I mean, you know what they said about you as a coach, right?
No, I don't.
What? They're like, oh shit, you got JJ? I'm like, yeah, I got JJ. He's the homework king. He's the homework king. I go, what? He can't be that bad. No, he's bad, Chris. He's bad.
That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, what should we be giving ourselves as homework? Read the book, one, and then two, as loan originators, what should we be doing to be able to win in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, great question, buddy. So you need to start, business planning starts now. So you're going to gather, September is data gathering month. This is when you gather all the data, what worked, what didn't work. What were my numbers year over year, month over month? What products helped me go forward? Did it have a ROI or didn't it have an ROI, return on my investment? Where's my marketing dollars? Just get all the data that you can, so that as you get into October, you can take that data and start minimizing things that didn't have a return on the investment, that were time and energy put with partners or people that didn't have a return on the emotional people investment. And then setting up your business planning so it's done in October. Because you want to have momentum behind it in November and December, while everybody else is just kind of coming up with their ideas in December and they don't have any momentum and it doesn't hit till March. So if you want to get ahead for next year, it starts now. The other thing is this is a tactic that I had for all my loan officers that I'll share. Go ahead and Monty gets credit for this one. Pull up all of the clients that referred you a pre-approval or a closed deal for the year. So all the realtors, closed deal or pre-approval for the year. You get that list, you hand it to your title guy, and you go, I need the list of every property they closed on, list side or buy side, for each of these realtors. Then they're going to hand it back to you with probably 2 to 3 times more properties that they closed, listing side by side, whatever. And then now you're going to reach out to all of these realtors and say, hey, I'm going to give you a homework assignment where you can reach out and add value to all of your clients, even the ones that I didn't work with. I'm going to be offering an incentive to help your clients as well that I offer for my clients to refinance. And I wanted to make sure you had that to offer them. If you can just do a triangle introduction via text, all of those people are probably in the 7s and higher interest rates, and I want to be able to help them. So this just took your refi pool from people that know, like, and trust you from 25% up to 100%. Even though I didn't get the purchase, no big deal. I know I'm going to go and try, but do go get some of those refis themselves. And then the last thing, man, fourth quarter push, be everywhere all the time. So I work the hardest. Once those pumpkin spice lattes come on the board, it drives me nuts because I look up there and I think cozy and so nice. And I just see all the business partners and everyone slowing down. This is when you pick up. Arguably, if we're hoping that we see rates decline and we get a new Fed chair in May of next year, then that tells me you have from now through April of next year to plant as many seeds as you can, so as many people know you and like you as possible, so that by default, when the market takes off, you're going to just get leads and deals from people that they're just like, I don't know, but I like him and I know who he is. Let's give him a shot. And I think that's before other people get back into the marketplace. So let's be honest, once the market conditions do improve, we're going to have 100, 200, 300,000 more competitors that are like, oh, okay, I'm ready to get back in again. I need to make sure my foot is planted where I want to go. So think about, where can you be many to one? So every single party that I can throw, educational event I can throw, every broker's office I can be in and speak at, and anything that I can go to that somebody else is throwing that I can be, I'm going to be at all of those. So I'm omnipresent at the and top of mind, because when they go home Thanksgiving and when they go home for the holidays and Christmas or whatever holiday they're celebrating, they're seeing more friends, more family, and more clients than they ever do all year as they do in the fourth quarter. So if you do that really, really well, you're going to have an okay first quarter, because first quarter is always slow. But I want us to think more than that, which is, hey, once the Fed chair is replaced, and if you get someone aggressive and bringing rates down and it's go time for us, then at least you position yourself properly.
That is, I love it. In fact, I'm going to make sure my staff does that. I love many to one and be everywhere all the time. Just that simple mindset of changing it, because you're right. Fourth quarter, like once everybody hits November, it just like starts to slow, and it just gets slower and slower and slower and slower. And even though we're closing some loans in December, the new activity is going to crap.
It's going to crap. And here's the deal. We got to remember, man, our referral partners, our realtors in specific, are unpaid salespeople. All right. Now, I'm sure, like they're going out there and they're finding people that may want to buy or sell or refinance their house and then bringing them back to us for no compensation. I would argue if I didn't pay my loan officers, they wouldn't stick around very long. That's for sure. So I think it's real important to understand, well, if they're not paid and they're not motivated, then what can you do to get them paid and get them motivated? And always keep that top of mind. And I think it does help with me, where I would get frustrated or maybe resentful. I'm like, why aren't they doing? Wow, they should be out there doing this. And it's like, man, we're blessed to be able to have, you could have 100, 200 referral partners out there, referring you business. Where salespeople are going to want a piece of that pie. So I think it also helps with the mindset. Like, stay with the activities, even though the things aren't. Because here's the deal. Everyone's going to hit the gym in January, buddy. Everyone's going to be calling the realtors, and they're going to be hitting the realtors, going to be talking to them and seeing them. And I want all those realtors to go, oh, how cute. You just decided to show up. JJ was here the entire fourth quarter. Nice try. So it's a little bit of offense and defense.
You're great at events. Your team and you putting together events. What's been an event or two, or have you been doing events this year that you felt like had a great theme, had great success, or was it nothing to do about the event? It was just consistency of having events.
I think it's definitely the consistency of having the events, the same place, same time, the same follow-up schedule, the same invitation schedule. All of that is bang for buck. Everything is very replicatable. But there were topics. I had found that the topics of anything that had to do with helping the clients, the referral partners or realtors, make more money. So all of the classes would be ended with make more money. And, teaching them how to generate and convert leads like we do, because here's the thing. It is so frustrating. And I tell this to my partners all the time. It pisses me off that you guys spend so much time to knock on doors, spend thousands on mailers, do all this to get one listing or one buyer. If you spent that same amount of time and energy to build a business relationship, they can send you 10, 12, 15 buyers or listings. Then why wouldn't you spend the amount of time there? And are you not paying attention to all these lenders and title reps and escrow people and all of us kissing your ass all the time, and you send us all your deals? Have you not decided to actually copy us and do the same thing? And so it's just challenging them, but showing them how to do it, how to organize, how to follow up. So anything around that, and I can chop that up into 3 and 4 different seminars, is always going to be super beneficial for them. And
how long
we
are
know
you doing them? The seminars, 45 minutes, hour and a half?
Hour and a half. Hour and a half. I think they're 2 hours. So what I do is you go, okay, you come from 12 to 12:30 and eat, and then 12:30 it starts, because we all know they like to come in late.
Yeah.
I also know there's always going to be a 20% fallout. Doesn't matter if I do it in my backyard or anybody else's backyard, it's 20%. So I make sure that I food accordingly.
Okay.
And then I just work on being on time. I teach the class in an hour and then do a little Q&A, and then that's it.
Cool. And knock it out.
Yep. And then the fortunes in the follow-up and closing for leads. So when I close, I have them fill out a survey and I ask for leads. I'll get anywhere between 10 and 25 leads at each of the events. And then and referrals to other real estate agents and brokers and such. So I think it's just asking and making sure you really deliver the value and get them to agree with the value. So I'll usually raise your hand if you learn something here to cash at least a $20,000 one check for one commission next year. They'll all raise their hand, and I go, awesome. I only need one for 5. and then I get an obligation closed and usually get some pretty decent leads that way.
That's a great way to end and ask and not make it awkward.
Yeah. No, it's only awkward if you don't ask. Like for us.
Yeah. I don't know how many times I've been guilty of not asking, and I get all the way up to that spot and I'm like, yeah, I'm not. And then I'm like, you're a dipshit. You should have asked. Let's transition into one last topic before I let you go, is coaching. I know it's a passion. I know you love helping. You got a lot of eggs in the basket, but you're also a great coach. You're involved in a great coaching program. Talk to me about that.
Yeah. So, a bunch of us had been with our previous employer for a long time, 10 plus years. And that program was amazing. It taught us the foundation of our business as originators and really changed our life. I'm so grateful for it. But there's also, how we do business now is different than we did then. So there was no way we were ever going to be able to teach the business on how it's evolved and how we do it now. Because it just wasn't our program to do so. And so, when my partners and I had left, we decided like, hey, let's put this together and build something where we can talk about how we do things and how it's evolved for us and all the things that we would probably be fired for talking about at our old company. We could talk about all day long here and, rebuild that community, which is, think of it as like a graduate school. We definitely talk about foundations. And so it's just a little bit different. It's like, we don't use rotary phones anymore. We use AI, and so it's incorporating that type into the business. But as you can see by some of the answers to my questions, there's still very foundational aspects to our business that will never change that we learned as well. So it's been awesome building the community and, doing our events sold out a month in advance. We couldn't believe that. We're like, holy moly. So it's been really cool, man. And it's been challenging and persevering, to say the least, because it's a startup. But the cool thing is with my partners, they're so freaking awesome. Some of the best originators in the nation and coaches in the nation. So we all work really, really well together and move the needle fast. I mean, if there's a mistake, we move it fast. If there's an opportunity, we move it fast. And so that's been the fun part.
That's cool. How many coaches you guys got now?
I think we have a total of 7 of us. Yeah. 7 of us. So like, we're really, it's very much a boutique. 7, 8, 9, I think 9. And then we've got a couple in training. So, we wanted to take more of a boutique approach, right? We just wanted to be, let's build this the right way with the right people. And then as it grows, we'll let it grow organically and see how it comes together.
Yeah, that's super cool. How do they get connected if they want to get coached or learn more about your coaching program? How do they get connected to that?
ImpactEliteCoaching.com, buddy. So they can just go to that and they can, check out the coaches, check out the founders and our philosophies and, any questions they have, they can reach out to us there.
That's awesome. So I want to do something special, JJ. I want to buy a couple $100 books and give them away. And wow. So I'm going to put the link also in there. If you're like, no, don't take Chris's free book, I want to buy my own, you can do that. And so I'll make sure I get JJ's link and get that tapped in there. And then the first 200 that DM me JJ, I'm gonna send them that book. So JJ, I'll make sure my team gets connected so I have them here and ready to send. I just appreciate you. You've been a light for me throughout my career. You've made an impact throughout all those years. And you just someone that I always just I keep watching and want to stay connected to you. So I'm super proud of you, JJ, and very excited to read this book.
Man, I'm grateful for you too, buddy. And this right here, this conversation is a testament to the VIP list and why everybody should be doing it. And I'm just super proud of you and just watching you grow and everything that you've done. So I equal love goes both ways, man. So thank you so much.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Coaching with Chris. Make sure you get connected with JJ. You want coaching, you want his book. We'll make sure we get it all right there in simple links for you. Have a great day. See you, JJ.
See you guys.